Okay, good evening, everyone.
I will.
Thank you very much
Thank
for
you.
joining us.
Somebody's interrupting our conversation here.
We are co-sponsored by the Rezepkowitz family in honor of their parents, by Mr. and Mrs. Eddie Chazan, for Shalema, for Yedidia Bas Panina, Shoshana Bas Panina, Simone Bas Rachel. We're co-sponsored by Binyamin Rivlin, Leili Nishmas Yitzchak Ben Avram Yehuda Alevi, by Shelley Zeitlin for his children, Eli, Orit, and Ora, for Ber Koasser, for Shalem, for my Shmeir ben Esther Fadl, Domer ben Chai Gittel, Akar Satayv to the Shir, Shalom Fogel, Eli Nishmas, Yaakov Zeb ben Yehuda Aryeh, Rivka bas Yaakov Yosef, Tzivya Miriam bas Gad, Yosef ben Tzion ben Yaakov Zev, that the Neshama should have an Aliyah. We are finishing the 9th parak and starting the 10th parak today. If you could do me a favor, Michal Avram, and give me volume 3 from the back in Sanhedrin. We welcome in Mo Kushner, Baruch Ian, Eddie Chazan, Irving Fishbaum, Yitzchak Fuchs, Yaakov Warman, Saba, Mel Zachter, Marshall Castle, Mark Frankel, Aaron Swade. Aaron, it's great to have you the third day in a row. Dr. Guy, Dr. Block, Yisrael Fisher, Nachman Chappell, Ruben Pollack, Shelley Zeitlin, Dr. Yudel, Menachem Umansky, Rabbi Kranz, Naftali Jablin, Moshe Lehman, Avram Schenkman. Avram, I do have your silver dollars. They were in my stender. Barish Gesseman, Yitzi Muller, Avram Rezepkowitz, Ilya Shutman, Abe Arbach, David Helfgott on Kol Loshin here in the shul. We have with us Gedalia Engel, Chaim Kramer, and thank you, Michal Avram. Waiting for Ruvain Shannon. Okay, so we're holding now on the bottom 2 lines of Daf Pei Gimel Amid Beis. Aval Oral, an uncircumcised kohen, Einain, one who is lost a relative and is in the stage before the relative is buried, and Yoshev, a kohen who's sitting. These are all ba'ashara. These are all only a lav. They are not a. They are not They are not a chiyav misa. Oral minalan. How do we know oral? We don't learn this out from the 5 books of the scriptures. We don't learn out from Chumash. Until Yecheskel ben Buzi came and revealed it to us. Kol ben Necher, any stranger, Orel Leiv, one who was uncircumcised of heart, or Orel Basar, or if he's just uncircumcised of flesh. His heart is whole, but he's uncircumcised of flesh because of Mesu Achiv Machmas Mila. His brother died because he was a hemophiliac, so he couldn't have a Mila. Lo Yavai El Mikdash, he should not come into my Mikdash, L'Sharseni, to be Mesharis me. There is an interesting Machlokes Rishainim that since this is not in Chumash, if there is Malchus or not. Rashi says there's no Malchus, but the Rambam says there is Malchus. Obviously, the Rambam learns it's a Gilei Milsa Ba'alma, and there is Malchus. Anyway, Onon Minalan, what about one who lost a relative before burial, that he's not allowed to do the Avodah? The Chsiv, because it says that the Kohen Gadol is an exception. If the Kohen Gadol does the Avodah when he's in Einan, he doesn't desecrate it. But another Kohen, a regular Kohen, if he doesn't go out, Chilel, he does desecrate it, so he's not allowed to do it. So, but why is it only a lav? Since it says, we should learn now. Thank you very much, and good to have you. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'akol niyeh b'dvaro.
Amen.
As Barry Cement made a grand entrance, you have to forgive Barry for his tardiness because he is feverishly working on his custom. V'neil of chilul chilul mitruma. Let's learn out chilul chilul from truma. Why is it only a lav? Ma lehalon b'misa, just like by truma. If a kohen tamei eats truma, he gets misa. So we should say afkan b'misa, that if he is an einin and does the avodah, it should also be misa. Says the Gemara, no, because miksiv bei bigufei. Does it say that if a regular kohen does it when he's an einin, he desecrates? It doesn't say that. It's inferred from a kohen gadol does not desecrate. Michlala ka'asi. It's only from an inference. Have a davar abba min haklal. Now we have a principle. What's the difference between something that's written beferish in the Torah and something that's derived from one of the Yud Gimel Midos Shatayra Nidreshes Ba? And the answer is that something that's derived, let's say, from a Kal V'Chomer, we cannot then learn further from it using a Gzeira Shava. So therefore, the Kol Davar Abba Min HaKlal, anything that comes from one of these principles, ain't done in Oisei B'Gzeira Shava. You cannot then learn and use a Gzeira Shava, such as Chilul Chilul. As we welcome in Dov Salkowitz, who's joining us for our 31st Zoomer of this evening, and we are holding 8 lines from the top of Pei Dalet Amud Aleph. Yoshev Minalan. How do we know that if a kohen is sitting and doing the avodah, he gets a lav? That's why it's not very good to sit when you're saying Shemona Esrei. People think, well, if I don't have a choice, I'll sit when I'm saying Shemona Esrei. You know, tefillah is compared to the avodah, and it's not good to do the avodah sitting. So Yoshev Minalan, Amar Rava, Amar Rav Nachman, Amar Kra, Ki Voi Bachar Hashem Alikecha Mikol Shivtecha. For the Shevet of Aaron was chosen from all the tribes, La'amod l'shareis, to stand and minister. La'amida b'chartiv, to stand he was chosen, v'loi liyeshiva, but not to sit. Balmum, what about a blemished kohen? We said that it's machloikis, that if a blemished kohen does the avodah, Rabbi Yomer b'misa, Rabbi says it's misa b'nei shemayim, v'chachamim ayim ba'ashara, and the chacham say it's a lav. My time at Rabbi, what's the reason of Rabbi? Dichsiv, ach ela paroiches lo yavai, it says about a balmum, that the balmum should not go to the paroiches, ve'la mizbeach lo yigash ki mumbai, so it says the word chilul. The yalav chilul chilul mitruma. We learn out chilul chilul from a tamei that eats truma. Malahalim b'misa, just like over there it's misa. Afkan b'misa. Says the Gemara v'neil of chilul chilul. Our old question: why do we say it's misa? Because we learn it out from truma. Let's say it's karis and learn it out chilul chilul from nicer. V'neil of chilul chilul min nicer. Malahalan, just like over there, bekaris afkan bekaris. Says the Gemara, mistavra, it's mistavra, a balmum should be learned out from a kohen tamei that eats truma, mitruma avalei l'meilav, shekain psulap guf, mipsula guf, because each one is a disqualification in the body, right? Whether the body is tamei and he eats truma, whether over here the body is blemished. While nicer is not a psula in the body, it's a psula in the offering that it was after its shelf life. Says Gemara, well, we should compare a balmum doing a avodah to nicer, sheken kodesh, both of them have to do with kachim, truma is not kachim, pnim, they both have to do within the Beis Hamikdash, and they both have the laws of pigul and nicer. And then it's more comparable to nicer, so we should compare it. It's 4 against 1. Ella, you're right. We don't learn out balmum from tamei that eats truma, Elamit Tomei Sheshimesh Gamar. We learn out a Balmum that does the Avodah from a Tomei that does the Avodah. That there it's Psula Guf Psula Guf. There it has it's analogous that both are a disqualification of the body, and Kodesh Pnim Pigel Anaiser, and it also has the similarities of Kodesh Pnim Pigel Anaiser, Mikodesh Pnim Pigel Anaiser. Now the Rabbanan say that Balmum doesn't get Misa. Why don't they learn it out, Taka, from the Tamei that does the Avodah? Rabbanan Amakra Boy. It says a Miyad Boy, V'loi B'Balmum, and not with one who is blemished. Hazid B'Me'ila. This is something that Barry does from time to time. I remember when we learned Masechtas Mila, Mila, High Goldkrantz had a great vote. High Goldkrantz, one of my fine Talmidim, said, I can't believe I'm going to learn a whole Masechta about an Aveira that's not Negea L'Maisa. That was High Goldkrantz's vote. How's High doing?
Baruch Hashem, fine.
You give him my fond regards and tell him that he should come on the Zoom if he knows what's good for him. Tell him if you could come on, he could come on.
I never called less, and I apologize. I've been having hard days. Believe that.
Yeah. Make him an offer that he can't refuse. Vinny or whatever it is, whoever you're going to use. Tell him you knock his teeth out, that he won't be able to put them back in. Anyway, so Hazid B'Mila, if Barry Cement willfully trespasses and benefits from Kochim a Shava Pruta, Rabbi Yomer B'Misa, Rabbi says it's Misa B'dei Shemayim, v'Chachamim Aimim Ba'azhara. And the Chacham say it's only a lav, it's only a negative prohibition. My time of the Rebbe, why does Rebbe say it's Misa B'dei Shemayim? Rebbe Yavo, Gomer Chet Mitruma. He learns out it says by Mila Chet, and it says by Truma, also eating Truma Tamei, also a Chet. Mala Halan B'Misa, just like over there it's Misa B'dei Shemayim. Afkan Misa. Rabbanan, again the Rabbanan say there's a miyat, Rabbanan Imre Amakra Boy, only by it, by V'loi B'Meila, by it and not by trespass. Zor Sheshimesh B'Mikdash. This is, as we welcome in Chaim Lerner for our 33rd Zoomer of the evening. And Mark, it doesn't go unnoticed by me that you're, since you had a grandchild, you're a changed man. We should change man. And of course, I know that the shir is much more interesting to you to come now that Aaron is back, and I don't blame you. And this is a beardless Aaron. Nicht kein Kleinigkeit. So anyway. So Zor Sheshimesh B'Mikdash, if a non-Kohen like Marshall does Avodah in the Mikdash, so what's the din? Tanya, Rabbi Shmuel Eimer, Nemar Kan V'Azor HaKorav Yumas. It says that a non-Kohen that comes near to do the Avodah is put to death. V'Lemalahalan Kol HaKorav HaKorav El Mishkan Hashem Yamos. Now, Malahalan Bidei Shemayim, just like over there, it's when it says Vakol HaKorav El Mishkan Hashem Yamos, it's talking about Misa Bidei Shemayim. Afkan, to do the Avodah when you're a non-Kohen, Bidei Shemayim. Rabbi Kiva Amar Nemar Kan V'Azor HaKorav Yumas V'Nemar Lahalon V'Anovi Yahu O Chayleim HaChaloim Ahu, a Navi or a dreamer that gives seduces someone to do something wrong, right? right? One subverts as a prophet or a dreamer. Now over there, we know that the penalty is stoning. So Rabbi Kiva says that, and we're going to see, don't get confused, we're going to see a stira, a contradiction about what Rabbi Kiva's opinion is. The Gemara is going to ask it shortly. But over here, Rabbi Kiva says, "Nema kan v'azar akarv yumas v'nema lahalon v'navi ahu acholam acholam ahu yumas ma lahalon b'skila." Just like over there, it's stoning. Afkan b'skila. Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri Yomer ma lahalon b'chenek. He holds that it's like strangulation. Afkan, so here also b'chenek. So the Gemara says, "B'may kamifligi." What are they arguing? Rabbi Yishmael, Rabbi Kiva. Rabbi Kiva Savar done in Yuma. It's a different pronunciation. The one pasuk says Rabbi Kiva Savar done. No, it's not a different. Rabbi Kiva Savar done in Yumas mi Yumas. We make this Gezei Rishava. While Rabbi Kiva Savar done in Yumas mi Yumas, we would learn out Yumas mi Yumas. But the ain't done in Yumas miyomus. We don't learn out Yumas from Yomus. Right? It's a different pronunciation. So Rabbi Shmuel says, you're right. It has a different pronunciation, but I would rather compare. Done in hedyot mehedyot, I rather compare one commoner to another commoner. The ain't done in hedyot menavi, and I not learn out a hedyot from a navi. He holds that although the words are not similar, but it makes more sense not to compare a regular person to a navi. So Rabbi Kiva says, he's not a Navi. If he's subverting people, then he's a real hedyot. Rabbi Akiva came in Shediach. If he's subverting people, ein lach hedyot gadol mizeh. There's no specialness to him. There's no greater hedyot than him. Now, b'may kamifliki Rabbi Akiva v'Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri. That one says it's chenek, and one says that it's skila. What are they arguing about? But plukta the Rabbi Shimon Rabbanan, the Tanya Navi Shediach b'skila, a Navi that subverts his skila. Rabbi Shimon Aimer b'chenek. So, but the problem is in the Mishnah, it says that Rabbi Akiva holds that a Zosha Shimish gets chenek. And here it says that Rabbi Kiva holds a Zosha Shimish gets skila. Says the Gemara, Ha'anan Tanan Rabbi Kiva Aimer Bechenek. Says the Gemara, you're right. Trei Tanoi V'Alibad Rabbi Akiva. There are two opinions on what Rabbi Akiva's opinion is. That's what happened. That sometimes different Talmidim heard the shir differently, and there were two opinions of what Rabbi Akiva's opinion was. Masnisin Reb Shimon Ali with Rabbi Kiva, who holds that Rabbi Kiva says that the zar that does the avodah gets chenek. Braisa Rabbanan Ali with Rabbi Kiva, who holds that a zar that gets that does the avodah gets skila. Now,
Adrian?
1 second, I'm just looking at something. Hadru alach Elohein an Nisrafin, Hadru alach Elohein an Nisrafin, Hadru alach Elohein han Nisrafin. And now we start the 10th parak, and this is something that Marshall's neck has been itching for, and that's strangulation. And Elu Heina Nechnokim, Begematria Marshall Castle in Chicago. Exactly.
Am I right? Did we miss a couple lines, or?
No?
Okay.
Anybody else think we missed a couple of lines? Okay, so you're drinking
Couple of drinks, maybe.
you're drinking a little bit too much of that wine. Now, Eluena Nechnokim. The following are strangled. Right? We've already learned Niskalin, we've already learned Nisrafim, we already learned Sayif, and now the last one before we come to the final parak, which is the worst fate, Lo'aleinu, which is Ve'elu She'ein Lem Chelik Lo'elam Haba. The last parak is the following are strangled. Hamaka avi v'imai, if somebody hits his father and mother, remember, for cursing with Hashem's name, his father and his mother, he gets stoned. But if he hits his father and mother and makes a wound, he gets strangled. V'goyin of nefesh b'Yisrael, a kidnapper. V'zaken mamrei al pi bezdin, and a rebellious sage that rebels against the bezdin agadol. V'navi Hasheker, a false prophet, v'amenisnabe b'shem avodas kechavim, one who prophesizes in the name of idolatry, v'abal eishes ish, regular adultery, v'zayme me bas kayin, and if Adam say that a bas kayin committed adultery, so although she gets sreifa because she profanes her father, but if it was found out that the Adam were not really there, they were in Dubai, those Adam get what they plan to do to her paramar, and that is adultery, ubayala, and the paramar also gets strangulation. The only one that gets burnt would be the bas kayin if the testimony was true. But in this case, where Barry and Marshall said that she did it, and she did it with chatzkel. So, and then we find out that Barry and Marshall were at that time on a cruise to the Bahamas. So Barry and Marshall, they don't get burnt. They get what they wanted to give to the paramar that is, they get strangled. Now, Maka Avivimai Minalan, how do we know if he hits his father and mother that he gets chenek? Dichsib Maka Avivimai Mois Yumas, he should surely be put to death. V'kol misa amur bas harastam, and any anonymous misa in the Torah ain't ela chenek. Says the Gemara, but maybe they only get executed if they kill their father and mother. Ema at the kotole miktel. So the Gemara says that doesn't make sense. Regular murder is with beheading, which is more severe, and if it's their parents, it's chenek, which is less than severe. So kedai the kotel chad, if you just kill some, Marshall Eddy or Barry Besayef, v'aviv bechenek, his father will get strangled, which is less. So the Gemara says, okay, hani k'laman yom chenek kal. That's good according to the man yom that strangling is less than beheading. Elaman yom chenek chomer, that strangling is more severe. It's possible that for regular murder it's beheading, but for a parent it's more severe, it's strangulation, but maybe it's only if you murder the parent. When it says in other places, if you hit a person and he dies, with enmity he hit him, V'yamos, so we see that where it means a murderous blow, it says mace, it says yamos. But if it just says maka over v'imay, that's not a murderous blow. Lav misu. Says the Gemara, v'itzrich lemichtav maka ish. Now, once we talked about murder already, so why do we need two psukim about murder? V'itzrich lemichtav maka ish. Moisumas, ve'itzrich lemichtav kol maka nefesh. Why does it have to say both? Dikas rachmana maka ish umeis havamina ish debar mitzvah in. The only time you get executed is if you kill an adult who has all the mitzvahs. Katan loy, if you kill a minor who's not a bar mitzvah, maybe you don't get executed. Kasser Rachmana kol maka nefesh, any soul, even a minor. The Kasser Rachmana kol maka nefesh, I might think even if you kill a non-viable fetus, havamina afilu nefelim, even a non-viable fetus that can't live 30 days, or afilu ben shmeina, or even a child that was an 8-month child. In the Talmudic times, a child who was finished at the end of 8 months was not able to survive. Tzriche, no, it's only if you kill a viable person. Now going back to kibbut of aim, I might think that you should get executed if you slap someone, even if you don't make a wound. But that's not the rule. One who hits his father and mother, doesn't get executed until you make a wound. Hitting a man, hitting an animal. Until there's a wound. Why? Because it says the soul, and soul is blood. So the Gemara says, but that's not true. If Marshall takes Irving's animal and loads it up with rocks and breaks its back, he didn't make a wound, but he's chayiv to pay. If you weaken an animal by loading it up with rocks, that's ridiculous. You're chayiv for payment of an animal even if there's no blood. If it's not applicable to an animal, because by an animal, any damage you're chayiv. It's coming to tell you that by Adam, only with the nefesh are you chayiv. If there's no wound, you're not chayiv for misa for hitting a parent. Says the Gemara that
when he hits the parent, he has to have in mind to make the wound. Does he have to have in mind that he wants to hurt them?
When he hits the parent, it has to be a hit that we can assess could have made a wound. Yes.
That he has to have kavanah, he wants to hurt them?
Oh, you mean he might be hitting them because he's playing...
no, they say a dentist can't work on his...
No. So then we're going to learn... Slow down. We're going to learn that. That's the next Gemara. Hold on. Slow down. So then why do we juxtapose Makkah Adam Makkah Behema if it's not needed for this? So what's the juxtaposition Makkah Adam Makkah Behema? So if you remember, we learned that just like by Makkah Behema Adam La'olam, and you're always chayiv to pay, so by Makkah Adam, if you try to kill someone, even if it's b'shogeg, you're patur from paying. The Kedetanya, the Beichizkiah, like we learned, the drasha Beichizkiah, that we say kam leber rabbinei even in a case of shogeg. If you remember, we had a 3-way machlokes whether you say that. Why does it juxtapose Makkah Adam Makkah Behema? Hekesha Lamali. Ma Makkah Behema l'refuah pater. Just like if a veterinarian is hitting the animal in order to try to cure it. It had a dislocated hoof, so he's trying to cure it. Even if he hurts the animal, he's pater. Af Makkah Adam l'refuah pater. And here we have Bari Shaila. Di Ba'ilahu, Ben Mao Shiyakez Dam Lo Aviv. Can a son be a bloodletter for his father? In the olden days, they cured a lot of disease by bloodletting. Now, here he's making a wound in his father, but he's doing it l'refuah. Ramas na'amar v'hafta l'reacha kamecha. Love your friend like yourself, just like you would do it for yourself. You could do it for your parents. Rav Dimi bar Chinan Amar Makkah Adam or Makkah Behema. Ma maka behema l'refuah potter. If it's done for medicinal reasons, it's potter. Af maka adam l'refuah potter. Even so, Rav le'shakal lebrei lemishbelei silui. Rav did not allow his son to take out a splinter from him because he didn't want him to draw blood. Mabrei Ravina le'shavik lebrei lemiftik le'kafsa. He didn't allow him to break a pus pimple, to lance a boil. Dilma chavel, lest he make a wound. Vavelei shigig as iser. It's a shogeg of an iser of a cardinal sin. Says the Gemara, ihachi achar nami. Then somebody else shouldn't do it either because it's a shkaga of a lav of hitting somebody. Achar is only a shigigas lav, but benai is shigigas chenek, is a shkaga of chenek. V'adit nan. Machal shel yad lital ba'es hakayitz, that a person is allowed to move a sewing needle to take out a splinter on Shabbos. Why aren't we afraid that when you take out the splinter you'll draw blood? And that's a shigigas skila of nitilas neshama. Leichish dilma chavel draw blood v'avila shigigas skila. Says Gemara, yeah, but over there it's mekalkel. Remember, on Shabbos we have to rest from creative labors, just like the Rebbeinu Shalom created. Making bleeding is destructive. Hasa mekalkelu. So the Gemara says, "Hani kalamandi yama mekalkel potter." That a destructive act is potter. Elamandi yama chayiv ma'ikalamema. Says Gemara, no problem. Man shamas leidama mekalkel b'chabura chayiv. Who holds that mekalkel b'chabur is chayiv? Reb Shimon. Yeah, but for Reb Shimon, there's another reason why there's no problem to take out a splinter even if you draw blood, because Reb Shimon holds. Reb Shimon has the famous shita. Reb Shimon ha'amar kol malacha she'ena tzricha legufa. Any malacha that is not done for the purpose that it was done in the Mishkan, pater aleh. Now, they drew blood in the Mishkan in order to get the dye. So, for example, they would draw the blood of the chalazon in order to get the tchelas. Here, when he takes out the splinter, even if he draws the blood, it's not to get the blood. He doesn't want the blood. So, for example, a famous example of malacha she'ena tzricha legufa is if a person takes a corpse on Shabbos outside of the house. So the purpose of carrying in the Mishkan was to bring the boards, the crushing, to where they were needed. So therefore you're chayiv if what you take out of the house, you're taking it out because you need it out. Here, you're taking it out because you don't want it inside the house, not because you need it outside. And therefore, that's not the malacha of the way it was done in the Mishkan, and that's considered a malacha she'ena tzricha legufa. Now, Rabbi said we did already the Mishnah Yomis, and now it's been a while that I thank Hashem that I'm able to do it, and now we're going to do a chak.